Hi, everyone. This is Real Talk with Joanne.
And Tom. Hey, everybody. Good to see you again.
Thanks so much for tuning in again. So we're following up on, we've had some podcasts about 8 ways to get your offer accepted, especially when there's a multiple offer market like there is now. Mm-hmm. So we've had some previous podcasts about escalation clause, something new.
Tip number 6.
Yes, tip number 6. And then we also talked about appraisal gaps.
Yep.
There's one of our other tips. Today we're getting into tip number 7, which is pre-inspection. Mm-hmm. So what exactly is a pre-inspection? You know, as agents, we're finding with these multiple offer situations that a lot of buyers, they're choosing to waive a home inspection. As agents, we don't advise to do that. We always say, get a home inspection.
Right.
So what is this pre-inspection?
So it's funny, I've been doing this 33 years. Back in the 90s, there was no such thing as inspection. Mm-hmm. We relied on the appraiser to do a little checklist inspection. Now, almost every buyer does a home inspection, and wisely, you should. And it's not, people think inspections are used so they can get out of a transaction. This is so you can learn about a home. Mm-hmm. That's why you do a home inspection. It's not, you're buying an older home, you got to expect there's going to be things wrong with it, right? Yeah. So we do recommend a home inspection. Now, there are a lot of people waiving that inspection. So we have a recommendation. You can do what's called a pre-inspection. Mm-hmm. And what that means is it's a hot market, you guys. Listen to some of our podcasts. Joanne had one, there was 30-some showings on a house in the first 2 days, offered $10,000 over, and the buyer didn't get the home. That's the reality of what's going on out there. And somebody may have waived their inspection. You could have done a pre-inspection. So when you go look at the home, you actually have the inspector there with you. And that inspector will do kind of a modified inspection. Because a typical inspection can take 2 to 4 hours. Yeah. This is something we're going to cram into an hour. But they're going to hit the major things, right? The major mechanical things. There's the top 10 things that we'll look at, the most expensive things you want to watch. You make sure somebody gets in a crawl space. Yeah. Checks the furnace. Looks in the attic to make sure there's no mold. Checks the plumbing. So 10 things that I would recommend. Do it during your showing. So when you go look at the home, you do your pre-inspection right then you can make your offer and waive the inspection.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
And like you said, Tom, I feel sometimes as agents when we're walking through with our buyers, it's hard to access a crawl space, or I don't have the ladder for the attic. So you bring this contractor with you and to help hit those major areas that's a concern. I always feel, what are your roof is something of importance. You want to check that, plumbing.
And the sellers all fill out what we call sales disclosure. Yeah. So they're legally responsible to disclose any defects they know in a home. And we're not saying, sellers are lying, we have to do inspection. Many sellers have no idea there might be mold in the attic from an exhaust fan from a bathroom. It's very common. Or a crawl space that there's some mold, or there's an issue with the roof. They don't know it. They haven't been up there. That's why you do these kind of things. So do a pre-inspection, then you can make your offer not subject to inspection. Now, I've had people say, well, Tom, if I pay for an inspection, I'm going to lose that money if I don't get the home. Yes, you're going to be out that money if you don't get the home. But in today's market, we have 8 tips. Okay, this is just one of the tips, and you should really consider this to get your offer accepted in a multiple offer situation, which we're seeing all the time again.
And I feel like it's a peace of mind as a buyer going through. And I do see when, I talk to my clients when they do inspections, it is just, feel, a bit of relief. They're learning about the home, like Tom said. It's not about what's wrong with it, and there are going to be things that come up. That's what an inspector's job is there for. But there is that peace of mind. You can feel more confident putting your offer in.
So here, Weicker Realtors Ileana, we have 8 tips we recommend to get your offer accepted in a hot seller's market. Okay, this is tip number 7. Next week, we're going to talk about tip number 8. This one sounds like kind of like a no-brainer, simple thing. We leave your offer as a backup offer. You're like, okay, what does that even mean? We're going to cover that next week, because that's a strategy that may make you win. Maybe you didn't win the first time around, but if that deal falls apart, you're going to win the second time. You're going to want to hear that one.
Absolutely. Okay. So, and remember, if you have any questions too, go to askweichert@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thanks you guys so much for joining us today.
Take care.
Take care.